Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then...
You ain't black.
1938, Eliot Ness and his wife Edna divorced.
Oh, no.
His otherwise remarkably successful
Remember I told
career...
you guys this was going to be a downward spiral?
Right. His otherwise remarkably successful career in Cleveland withered gradually.
Oh, there it is.
Sort of like slowly went away.
There it is. It was like a flower in the sun.
He especially fell out of favor after he had the city's large shanty towns evacuated and burned during the Cleveland torso murders.
Yeah.
Cleveland critics targeted his divorce. He was like, this dude, it's crazy. His wife don't even want him.
He can't even keep a relationship.
His high-profile social drinking.
He was a fucking drunk.
Look at him, guy.
He's like the stereotypical 50s
right.
Detective in the movies. He's just fucking drunk and, you know, like, he gotta redeem himself.
Not only that, did you see?
Isn't the detective or the cop guy in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Isn't he like a drunken type dude?
Right.
Yeah.
He's like a
He's
Dick
like
Tracy.
that guy.
He's like a Dick Tracy guy. Or Archer.
I don't know who Archer is.
You never watched
Isn't that a cartoon on
Yeah.
FX or something?
Yeah,
I've never watched it.
You should watch it. It's fucking fantastic, dude. I'm telling you. We're going to watch a little clip here in a minute.
Yeah, we're not.
And you're going to like it. Oh, they're pissed off that he was a social drinker. And
high profile.
And that high-profile social drinking led to a terrible scene at a car accident one night when he was driving drunk. He was just a belligerent piece of shit.
Well, it wasn't terrible because when you go on to the next part of it.
No, for his behavior.
Well, for his reputation, right?
Right. Although there were no victims in this accident, Eliot, fearful that he might lose his job, tried to get the accident covered up. Right. I mean, it's just terrible. Later on, his involvement in the accident was revealed by a local newspaper and calls for his resignation increased. Burton's successor as mayor, Frank Lausche, Lausche, kept Ness on.
He was like, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I mean, when everybody makes mistakes. He just got divorced.
Hey, the Eliot Ness, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He just got divorced. I mean, it's sad. It's sad stuff. It's sad stuff.
But he's really a good guy. I mean, he's great.
He's great. He's a great guy. It's great people on both sides. In 1939, Ness married. He wasn't out of
action that long, right?
He didn't have no ladge between the badge,
right.
As they say. 1939.
He was pumping. He was pumping on.
Ness married illustrator Eveline Michelau. Michelau in 1942. The Ness'S moved to Washington, D.C., where he worked for the federal government.
Okay.
He directed the battle against prostitution in communities surrounding military bases where venereal disease was a serious problem. Later, he made a number of forays into the corporate world, all of which failed owing to his lack of business acumen. He didn't have no business acumen. He's just he's like, I can investigate. That's it. I can't type $2.99 on the cash register.
What's the sales tax in this?
Right.
Well, I don't get it.
Well, in 1944, he left to become chairman of the Diebold Corporation, a security safe company based in Ohio.
After a second divorce and third marriage.
Oh, no, dude. What are you doing?
He ran unsuccessfully for mayor of Cleveland in 1947.
Uh-oh.
After which he left Diebold in 1951. In the aftermath, Eliot Ness was forced into taking various odd jobs to earn a living.
And he just keeps going down the cliff further and further.
He went to a bookstore. He wanted to be a clerk at a bookstore. We didn't want to be, but
well, he didn't want to be, but
right.
I mean, he had to be.
He's like, this is freaking boring. I gotta get out of here. Like, well, the electronics store.
Like, what else you want to do, Eliot?
Right, you can be a wholesaler at the electronics parts store. All right.
Yeah, I'm tired of selling stoves. Why don't I sell something that gets cooked on them?
Right. Hey, man, you see me selling those stoves? Well, check out these frozen hamburger patties.
They go great together.
Right.
Buy this stove, you get 10 free hamburger patties.
Nice.
Frozen,
yeah,
of course.
Right. By 1956, he came to work for a startup company called Guaranteed Paper Corporation, which claimed to have a new method of watermarking legal and official documents to prevent counterfeiting. He was like, check this shit out, guys. Eliot Ness was offered the job because of his expertise in law enforcement and moved from Cleveland to Coudersport, Pennsylvania, where much of the investment capital for the company was located. So he basically went to headquarters.
Okay, but still bouncing around town from town. That's not good for him.
And still getting great jobs, though.
I mean, not so great that he's now drinking more heavily, and he's spent some free time in a local bar telling stories of his law enforcement career while in Coudersport, Pennsylvania.
Guess who I took down, motherfuckers?
Well,
you won't even believe.
Unfortunately, right. He's like, hey.
You won't even believe who I took down.
No.
You fucking sit here.
Don't you fucking sit there and say that. I fucking took down Al Capone.
And they're like, you
I
took
fucking took him down.
You took it. Drink another one. Drink another one.
Right, you know
Fucking,
it. I
fucking did.
I guarantee
Right.
he was sitting at the bar fucking doing that same exact stuff.
Everybody's
No,
laughing at
fuck
him.
you. I fucking took him down, I did.
I was the highest decorated officer at that point in time in Chicago.
Well, unfortunately for him, though, his life's about to spiral even more because Guaranteed Paper began to fall apart when it became clear that one of Ness's business partners had misrepresented the nature of their supposedly proprietary watermarking process, leaving Ness in serious financial jeopardy. So not basically, these guys said they had a new way of watermarking legal documents, which turned out to be totally false, and it wasn't a new way, and it was probably less successful and less secure as the other way that people had been doing it.
It didn't work out.
Yeah,
That
sucks for you, Eliot.
Years later, he struggled financially.
If only he would have took those $2,000 notes.
He was near penniless at the time of his death. With his role in bringing down the greatest freaking bootlegger of all time, Al Capone, having been largely forgotten.
Shortly after his approval of the final galleys for the Untouchables, Ness collapsed and died at his home in Countersport, Pennsylvania, of a heart attack on May 16, 1957.
Ain't that some shit?
The poor fellow was only 54 years of age. Undoubtedly, the heavy drinking of whiskey and God knows what else he was putting in his body was took the toll on him. 54 years old. Wow. His body was cremated, and his ashes were scattered in one of the small ponds on the grounds of Lakeview Cemetery in Cleveland.
Okay.
An admirer later donated a plot near the pond and erected a cenotaph, which is a big-ass gravestone, pretty much, in his honor there. Ness was survived by his widow, Elizabeth Anderson Seaver, and adopted son, Robert.